as you know, the theme of today's session was about the future of IT careers. The reason why we picked this theme was that in this unprecedented time where we are living, as you know, businesses, lives, economy, social side of things, everything is very unprecedented. We don't even know whether we can get out to the road next week. We don't even know whether we will be able to see light in the economic side of things in the near future. So there are a lot of uncertainties that are happening in the world, and we were of the view that it is important that we keep our student community, with whom we keep connecting, appraised of what is happening. So we have been doing this for a while, but it was important for us also to connect larger audience and make sure that they will be able to appreciate what we are trying to do. So that is the feature of today's session. So ICT Academy would like to welcome its panel members here. We have a very esteemed set of panelists here. Let me We had 5 panelists. I think, as I said, 2 of them are still on the road, so hopefully they will be able to join. So let me introduce the panelists who are available with us right now. So I wanted to go to my right side, which is Mr. Srikanth A. Mr. Srikanth is the global talent leader for GDS in Ernst & Young. Over 27 years of industry experience, and before EY, Mr. Srikanth was also a senior vice president at DXC, MD for CSE India, and he has got an illustrious career in the field of talent management and related activities. In EY, he plays dual role. He's a talent leader, but I think he's also going to take a line function pretty soon. On to the right, so welcome, Mr. Srikanth, to this session. I really appreciate you bearing with us for all the technical glitches that we had.
No issue.
We had on the screen left below is Mr. Sriram Ananthashayanam. Mr. Sriram is the partner for Government and Public Services, PwC. He has got over 20 years of industry experience and has been with PwC for the past 3 years. Before that, he had a long stint with IBM Middle East Africa region, and he comes with a lot of consulting background. And it is a pleasure for us to have Mr. Sriram. Hi, Sriram. I think Sriram, you are joining from Bangalore, right?
I am. Thank you, Santosh. Glad to be here.
Sure. I also have on my right frame below is Mr. Vijay Kumar. Mr. Vijay is a great friend of mine, and Vijay is the CEO for INAP. He has also been an entrepreneur in his life for a long time. He has successfully created a couple of entrepreneurship stings, and INAP is one such successful company. Again, with over 30 years of experience, I think Vijay comes with a lot of exposure into the field of entrepreneurship and professional services. So it is my pleasure, Mr. Vijay, to invite you to this forum.
Thank you, Santosh.
I also have, in absentia, I just will invite 2 more guests whenever they're able to join. Hopefully, they will be. Is Mr. Anil Warrior. He is the head of Amazon India Internet Services. Anil comes with 30 years of experience in the field of talent management. He has been with SAP Labs and Microsoft before. So hopefully Mr. Anil will be able to join soon. Then we also have Mr. Dinesh Thampi, the Vice President and Delivery Center Head for TCS Kerala, with over 30 years of experience in the industry. Dinesh has seen it all right from sales to delivery to operations. Right now he's heading TCS operations in India. So these 2 gentlemen hopefully will join in near future for us. So that's pretty much I have as the introduction. I also wanted to take this opportunity to invite all the esteemed guests who have come in from various engineering colleges and also from various professions. We do have some industry participations as well today. So welcome on board. And once again, I wanted to apologize for a slight delay in the whole process that we had. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank the APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, who has helped us in spreading the message about this particular event and has been very supportive for us. So I wanted to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajeshri, and also the Industry Attachment Cell Coordinator, Mr. Arun Alex. They are on the listeners list right there. I hope they will appreciate the effort that we are putting in. So thank you, APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, for partnering with us. The way we will take this is just on the what you call the technical aspects of it. There is a particular button for everybody to ask questions. So if you have questions, you can start asking the questions in the question box. As a moderator, I will pick that up, and as we progress, we will start asking questions to the respective panelists. In the meantime, I will start off the conversation with a few questions that I have. In fact, Vijay knows I love asking questions and sitting quiet. So I will perhaps take that opportunity again here. So let me go ahead with Mr. Srikanth. Mr. Srikanth, we know that this is a very interesting and a tiring time, both in both sense. Tiring in the sense we have these uncertainties out there. Interesting in the sense we also have maybe new opportunities out there. I just feel lucky that I think I may have the next speaker also joining us, Mr. Dinesh Thampi. I could see him in a glance, so I hope he will quickly join in. So Dinesh, welcome on board as we speak. So Mr. Srikanth, the question first to you is, what are the current business adjustments that you're doing within the EY? So to speak, and what are the kind of opportunities that you are working towards in the EY from a business perspective?
So, first of all, thanks for inviting me. This is a great opportunity to really reflect our thought process and how can we work together. So, a few comments before I get into what we are thinking in business. Comfort with uncomfortable. How can we get comfort with unknown?
No, we again have an audio problem with you.
Oh my God. Santosh, is it okay now?
No, we still can't hear you. So let me quickly park you. I think you may need to reconnect it. So let me park you there. Let me go to Sriram. I think Sriram, you and your organization has been doing some very interesting study on COVID situation and the scenarios around that. Especially with you being in the public services and government services, so what do you see as governments doing in this scenario, and what do you think as governments across the world started working on the post-COVID situation? If so, what is it?
Sure. Thank you so much, Santosh, for this interesting question. Many governments had actually started using a big hammer to hit the COVID to bring the health under control, while they quickly realized flattening the curve of the health crisis would result in a peak in the economic and the employment scenario in terms of unemployment and economic downfall. So many governments are recalibrating on how they should really manage addressing the health issue with respect to while still giving a fillip to the health, to the employment, and to the economic issues. Now, there are many ways in which people are doing it. Many are looking at grants. Many are looking at giving specific subsidies. However, many of them are really focused on few areas. One area that many governments are focused on are in terms of kind of reviving the small and medium enterprises and the really small and medium enterprises to see how they can get a fillip in the current economy, because most of them don't have a significant amount of working capital. They will struggle in the absence of business coming in. They'll struggle in the absence of supply chain and all of those issues. So a lot of initial impetus is being given to SMEs and MSMEs. Parallelly, many of them are thinking of what to do with some of the service industry that all of you and all of us represent. While currently nobody has gone on record saying what exactly is going to be the impetus or the fillip to the service industry or the knowledge worker industry that all of us belong to, certain trends that we are seeing broadly. Now, given where we are in the COVID curve, and given where some of the Western nations are in the COVID curve, and many of them doing a significant amount of business continuity and disaster plans, a lot of work are seemingly moving into the captives in India. So we are seeing a lot of uptake in the captive business. That is point number one, because many of them are wanting to keep the lights on their applications while still managing absence of employees in their hometown. That is point number one. While they're doing it, we are also seeing that many of these global enterprises are really focusing on lights on and less on new development, which means the way we would see the market in the next 6 to 12 months in terms of IT skills or the new IT careers that may come up. You could get a broad indication on where the skills would be needed. So at a very high level, my suggestion is to say that a lot of focus should be there on each of us as students or administrators or educators, rather than not focusing on how good my game is currently, meaning, am I a fantastic educational institution? Am I a great teacher? Am I a great student? Towards moving into saying, how robust is my game? Am I resilient? Am I modular? Am I diverse? Can I change my color? Can I adapt? So on and so forth. So that's going to be the flavor, so to speak, in the next few months before we can really go forward. I'll stop here, Santosh, and then
Okay, great. Thank you. Vijay, you come with the mid-tier company segment, and you're also a part of the consortium of IT companies, the GTEC. What do you see from the mid-tier company perspective? How do you see the current scenario?
On the question with regard to the companies like us, I'm going to classify these smaller companies in the context of Kerala as companies which are below 500 in number. And we did a fairly detailed survey and reach out to understand how companies in Kerala are doing. I must apologize if what I'm going to be talking is not particularly an optimistic view, but I would like to think and share that there's a realistic view. Dinesh has just joined, and Dinesh, of course, knows about it as the secretary of GTEC as well. So in the survey that we did, what we really found is that companies which are in the small and medium segment have been hugely impacted. What we found is that, and this is a survey that was done mid of March, which means that it's probably slightly worse now compared to at that point in time. And at that time, the smaller companies had felt that were of the opinion that their top line in this quarter is going to be hit by about 40% on top line, which could go as bad as 60% over the next 2 quarters. While the larger companies, which is again impacted, felt the same figures to be something like about 20% in this quarter, going down to about 35%. So there is no doubt that the hit has been significant. We also did a study for on IT for the planning board. And what that showed up is, again, a little worrying. And what that showed up is that for the current workforce in IT, which is about 1.25 lakhs in the state, there is an expected drop of about 26,000 jobs by the year end, which is on account of a revenue loss, which is to the crore about 45,000 rupees, 45,000 crore rupees. So there is no doubt that there is fear in the minds of many companies, and there is no doubt that it is absolutely true that businesses have been impacted. The positive side and the way we are seeing that there are opportunities in all this. The opportunities can come from business, for example. We have seen that there are certain new clients, new businesses that have opened up which can benefit in their business from the current situation. We have found people who are prepared to kind of invest in this time to be able to be ready when the recovery happens. So they're ahead of the competition. So that investment is happening. We're seeing opportunities there. So while on one hand we have had hidden business, there has been also the opportunities that are there. What might be interesting for the group here is that in terms of the people, the employees, and possibility with regard to recruitment. Yeah. So in terms of the employment, what we are seeing is that, particularly with regard to fresh intake, we are not looking at in any way kind of dishonoring the kind of commitments we have. So we don't plan to kind of freeze our recruitments, and the reason that is there is that we do anticipate and we do hope that and optimistic that in one, if not 2 quarters, we'll start to see an uptake of business. And the recruitment we do right now is not for our immediate need. The recruitment we always do with a fresher batch is an investment we make for a future time. and therefore that doesn't stop. And I think this is the kind of sentiment that I've heard across most companies. So in summary, Santosh, I think the situation is one which is challenging, but it doesn't really mean that there is a freeze on recruitment. It doesn't mean that freshers won't be still taken in. But undoubtedly, I would think that there is a challenge that the numbers would go down, and there are implications of that.
Okay. Let me quickly come back to you, Mr. Srikanth, on the same question that I asked. If you can speak now, that would be great.
Okay, definitely. Definitely. First of all, sorry, my network is good at home. I don't know why this platform shows some trouble. Anyway, first of all, I would like to really remind all of us, we are definitely living in world of uncertainty. What is certain is uncertainty in the next few months or quarters. And we need to really get comfort with uncomfortable, and we need to get comfort with the unknowns. So that is one thing we are preparing ourselves as an organization. And we are also really telling our customers and our employees to be very agile in today's world. So I would like to really walk you through one or two concept of, we call it as better questions, better answers, and better working world. That will narrate you what we are doing, how we are preparing. So one of the better questions we ask ourselves is, social distancing help us solve a collective purpose? So we are working on ensuring that our people are socially distancing and physically distanced, but psychologically not a proximity. So that is one thing we have done it in the last several weeks while maintaining social distancing. We encourage. So I was telling, we are encouraging ourselves to ask better question. The first one is on social distancing and psychological proximity. The second one is, when the world is standing still, how can we move forward? The third better question is, can what sets us apart bring us closer? We believe the COVID situation has set us apart as an organization, as a team, as an ecosystem. But we also believe this also gives us an opportunity to come closer. So that's the third better question. The fourth one, or the last one, which will give you what we are doing, how is staying inside helping our people to think outside the box? So these four questions, the psychological proximity, world is standing still, can we move forward? What sets up apart, can us bring together? And the last one is, we are staying inside, can we think outside the box? So that's what we are working on, Santosh. Then we can definitely, I can share how we are seeing the campus graduates coming in near future, how we are planning to engage them, how we are going to really provide them the exceptional UI career, which we are always proud of.
Okay, this seems to be a very, very interesting set of catchwords, I would say. So we will be certainly interested to know a little more about that. I will definitely come back to you. So let me go across to Dinesh very quickly. Dinesh, in your absence, we did your introduction, so we will not do the introductions again. But sorry for the trouble that caused by the platform. But we're glad that you are in now. So the question to you is, we already see TCS in news uh, for utilizing the COVID situation to its advantage and kind of remodeling its operations. And we hear that there will be more remote working and things like that. So the question to you is actually, what is currently the scenario in TCS in terms of businesses? Is it stable, positive, or you're seeing some trouble? And are there any plans that are in pipeline for TCS in the future?
Okay, thanks, Santosh. Good morning to all. Thanks for this opportunity. Anyway, to start with the lighter note, maybe you would have taken a ground meat rather than an air meat, so that the drop is
That was a good one. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, now thanks for that. Anyway, to answer the question, yeah, I think see, when we all know there was this sort of a pilot lockdown which was done on March 22nd, and we as a state here, it started from 23rd onwards. So before that itself, when all this whole ordeal of coronavirus started, we have been like thinking about this what we call currently as SBWS, which is work from home, but what we call as a secure borderless workspace. And we have started moving systems and devices, whichever may be as appropriate with the associates to work from home. And that to just to complete that aspect, I think, in fact, in Kerala, between Kochi and Trivandrum locations which I handle, there are close to around 99% or 99% plus associates are enabled working from home, which I think is in the case in most organizations, except some associates who are from outside of Kerala being in these locations. That also now we are addressing that. From an overall business standpoint, I think, like, in fact, I got in touch with many of our relationship people at on-site and also the delivery side. So the customers are comfortable with the way in which this is happening, and they were really appreciative on the fact of how BCPDR. This is like something. If you look at it, the whole world is a global jail. So nobody can move, whatever you call it as house arrest or whatever it is. We are all stuck. But the customers were appreciative about the way in which not only like a particular organization, the whole Indian IT industry responded to that from a BCPDR scenario. I think somebody was talking about the resilience in which we acted to it, and also taking care of, like, giving priority to the safety and the health aspects of the associates and the continuity of their whatever the deliverables. So I think to a great extent, I think very few there are occasions where that is not happening. One is like, even with all these things happening and with all these scenarios going on, there are still certain customers not comfortable, people working from home. So their approvals is still pending. Other than that, I think we have been operating quite well. In fact, like as of this Monday, I think Bangalore and Calcutta, we started operations in a very small percentage. That too mainly where there was the customer approvals were not there, and in fact, obviously there were delivery impacts. And in fact, I think as of yesterday, Chennai and Delhi also started. So currently we are like operating in that mode. But then slowly and with like a very calibrated manner, there's a plan to see how we can recommence operations within the office.
Okay. And in terms of business, it looks stable, positive?
Yeah, as of now, I think whatever, except certain domains, which obviously we know the travel, transportation, hospitality domain is like very badly hit. The airlines, the hotel industry, hospitality, all these areas are hit. And we also like, they are like wanting to ensure that the systems are stable and then keep the lights on and things to proceed. Maybe some of the development projects, they were like doing a rethinking on that. And maybe also in retail, if you look at it, especially where like the apparel shops and things like that, wherever there is a food and pharmacy, it's not much hit. I think those are obviously healthcare is having like a lot of business coming in whichever way, what we call as digitization, digital transformation, whichever aspects those areas is having.
Okay. Audience, very quickly, I know there are questions being posted on the chat. Unfortunately, I will not be able to see the chat. If you kindly post your questions in the questions block, then we will be able to pick it up. So esteemed panelists, I will straight away go into the questions. I had one more round question, but I think it is fair to answer the questions from the audience side. This goes to Sriram. So Sriram, the question is from Femin Justin. I mean, I picked you up because based on the questions, okay? So the question is, the economy is about to go down according to IMF and WHO. So how is it going to affect the IT sector and our economic sector at large? Being a consultant, I thought you may have a better view on this.
Sure. So, there are two ways in which you need to look at it, right? So economy as a whole, while will be showing a downward trend, not dipping like this, it won't dip like this because most of the governments are giving a stimulus package, which was not there in the past. So somewhere the government stimulus package and the private sector dip kind of normalizes, and it'll dip a bit low. There are various GDP forecasts that multiple people are giving that the GDP will drop by 6 to 7% in India in terms of growth, so on and so forth. Now, there are two ways to look at it. Now, one is the IT industry per se in India. One is the domestic market, and the other is the international market. Domestic market is around 10 to 15% if I'm taking a broad number, and the international offshoring is much more. Now, as I said earlier, in the international offshoring market, when the economy is dipping, governments will be torn between two kinds of decisions. Maybe the Western governments will be torn between two kinds of decisions. One is to give fillip to the industry and making sure that they're able to meet their cost and profitability projections, versus they keeping employment within their own countries. Now, which way the wind is going to blow there? For example, if they're going to be focusing more on keeping employment within there, then the level of offshoring could see a dip, which could impact us, number one. Or if they take the decision other way around, saying let the industries run the way they want to run, and I will give different economic employment impetus to the people, then the things could change in a slightly different manner. So that is point number one. My whole point is there is ways and means in which we can look at, dissect the economy and try to get into some kind of intellectual conversations. But at the ground level, as a developer, as a tester, as an IT consultant, my fundamental premise is that the way I looked at my career so far and the way I'm going to look at my career in future is going to change. Why, I tell you? One, so far a lot of us have been focusing on a bit of specialization. There is this famed model called as the T model, which IBM and other companies used to say, where you have a depth, you build a depth in one particular area and you build a horizontal capability. You earlier used to say that I was probably an ERP person and an ABAP developer. For example, I'm an SAP ABAP developer and ERP. Now, tomorrow, for us to remain fungible and for us to get more and more availability of jobs, that T will probably become a pie. If I remember a pie at 3.1 for 22 by 7, or a comb model with multiple teeth. Now, what is that skill sets adjacent to your skill sets that you can develop and become a little more rounded? I'm not asking a mainframe developer to become an AI machine learning specialist tomorrow. What I'm saying is that if you are only focusing on a functional testing, can you diversify a bit into automation? Can you diversify a bit into lights off, kind of mode? Can you diversify a bit into stress and other kind of testing? So think of ways in which you can diversify into adjacent so that you make yourself more relevant. So the why I'm saying that, in spite of, we can discuss and debate how the world is going to change and nobody has got a crystal ball, things will evolve. But at the ground level where we are, and our future is in our control. So let's do what is in our means and get it done. That's my submission.
Okay, great, thank you. I think there are a few questions on that. I may be able to skip those questions, but this question perhaps is something that Mr. Srikanth may be able to answer. This is something in line with the 4 points that you mentioned. The question is from Mr. Kiran Muralidharan. He says that during the COVID scenario, in the new normal, the remote working from home, all those things are self-accountability, ability to work virtually, all those things are slowly evolving. And in fact, there are issues of self-accountability can pose its own issues. Handling of data privacy and security has been traditionally be an issue for long. That is why we were working from offices, etc. So these things are changed, at least for temporarily. Are these things, the gist of the question is, are these things going to continue as it is, or are companies going to make adjustments around that, or will it go back to the brick and mortar office type models in the future?
It's a great question. So connecting to what Sriram mentioned, the world is changing, and EY has been working on a great concept over the last several years. With our strong purpose, building a better working world has been our organizational purpose. So we have been preparing ourselves over the last several years. How can we build a better working world? And we started reimagination of our workplace, working world, and wellness over the last several years. And the COVID situation confirmed or really supported us to accelerate some of our beliefs and value system around building a better working world. So what we have done, or what we continue to do even after COVID situation, is reimagination of the worker well-being and working world. So we started working from home many years back. 30 to 40% of our employees work from home already pre-COVID situation. So when we went on COVID situation, moving into a working from home took only few days. Few days we have started working from home, and all our employees had laptops, internet connectivity, as well as all the software through VPN. People could access it, and we started looking into productivity analysis of employees in the second week working from home, where we need to help people to continue to improve productivity, innovation, and creativity. We also made mandatory that within 1 week, all our employees should complete the data privacy and data security retraining program. The importance was we want to enforce that this is a great opportunity. We need to take personal accountability and ensure that our business is safe and secured as you work from home. So we really changed that very quickly. And post-COVID situation, we look at two scenarios. One is pre-vaccination and post-vaccination. Pre-vaccination, we believe very less people will come back to office. Even if government allow us to come to my office, we don't want to do that. We want to take care of employees' safety and security. And we believe working from home is really work. The second one is what we really did is we had a strong, bold statement that exceptional EY experience is what we provide to employees, and we say that that will remain lifetime, and that exceptional EY experience is yours to build it. I cannot build that exceptional EY experience for you. I can provide infrastructure, systems, and process for you to build it. So going back into Sriram, what he mentioned, the accountability of building a wonderful career, learning, contribution, we shifted to employees, and organization provided the culture, the tech, the scale, and the career management system and reskilling, cross-skilling, like Sriram mentioned, the deep form, go deeper and wider. Double dip, they call double dip, isn't it? And we created a very good EY badging system where employees can take badges on digital technology and transformative mindset. So the accountability shifted to employees. Then another very interesting things we worked on is creating GigNow. GigNow is our platform where freelancers can work with us as part of our ecosystem. Santosh, I started working with you and Kerala government pre-COVID situation. Now we need to get it back again into our radar. So we look at 4 types of gig workers working with us, and that platform is very, very global. One is how can we get freelancers on-premise and off-premise? And that is quite running very well. We established a very good mandate and very good management systems around that. The second one is we create a private cloud, or we are creating a private cloud where our employees register in this cloud platform and they can do over and beyond their day, what they do day to day. So they have been like double dip concept. I'm doing in .NET. I got certified in EY badges in ServiceNow or data science. I can take a project in this as I deliver .NET for my 85% utilization or billability. So that's the private cloud. Then another 2 interesting things we are working. We started partnering with the managed service cloud providers like Topcoder, Upwork, Qualtrics, or Kaggle, so that we can get some of the managed services through them and delivered. The last one is very interesting. We are creating a microservice architecture where we are breaking down traditional job descriptions into tasks, and we are crowdsourcing tasks. That's one project we started ideating with the Kerala government for the what do you call it as the women who is empowering your economy. We call it as, what is that, Santosh? Kudumbashree program. How can we partner with the Kudumbashree program where we can give industrial tasks to these women and they can do it? So one example we did it, description, it is monolithic. You take any job description of a recruiter, for example, recruiter is supposed to do sourcing, screening, scheduling, selection, offer, and pre-onboarding and onboarding. So that's a traditional job description of a recruiter. Similarly, programmer, project manager, you'll find a monolithic job description. A person is supposed to do many tasks. So with the microservices coming, we are going to break down this into tasks like sourcing, screening, scheduling, then use micro skilling techniques and give badges and micro learning. So in 2 weeks, you can perform a task and you can take that task at home and deliver it. So again, data privacy, IP issue doesn't come. Like a Toyota manufacture a car, it have 200 components, they crowdsource it. And they will assemble it back into a meaningful outcome. So that is one pilot we are doing it. So everything resolve around enabling gig workers, working from home, virtual communities, which is agile. So one thing, since a lot of university students are here, one thing we are partnering with the universities to build a curriculum on freelancing. And we already established and now trying with many universities. So students and faculty will be taught how to become a freelancer. And we will give industrial task as part of the internship. In the first semester or second semester, they can do this task and also earn. They can learn and earn. If they really perform good tasks, we'll pay them. Then once they complete their graduation, they know how to become freelancers. They can build credibility score in Topcode or Upwork or whatever the system. So they can choose. So what I believe is the future of the work is not, like Sriram mentioned, is not going to be traditional. It has to be virtual. Employees need to take accountability. They need to realize that the contracting or gig job is as respected. There is no social stigma around that. And in fact, I have done an analysis. A gig worker makes 3 times more than a permanent employee working for IBM, Messenger, or TCS, or Deloitte, or for us. And he can choose the boss, he can choose the team, and he can choose the project. So that's what I know. It's a big story. So again, I echo Sriram's sentiments. It's all, it depends on you. The exceptional UI experience, it's yours to build it. We cannot build it for you, but we can give you the roadmap and courses, and you need to drive it.
Thank you, Srikanth. In fact, I had a question, is exclusive question to discuss this freelancing model. I just wanted to reiterate for the audience, especially the students, like entrepreneurship. I think post-COVID scenario, I think freelancing, small pieces of work is going to be a major trendsetter in the industry, at least in the IT industry is what we understand. I think many companies may start to look at it. So like entrepreneurship, I think the student community should start look at this freelancing model as a very, very serious career option. And I believe that will give them a lot of experience and exposure, and it will help them, as you rightly said, build the score, and then you can become what you call employable as you wish, right? So that's the kind of change that I also feel is something very, very important. So students out there in the audience, please take a look at this freelancing as a very, very important opportunity for you. Now,
and also Santosh, maybe I can volunteer, send you around 100 sites available in globally, like Upwork, Topcoder, Qualtrics, Kaggle,
sure.
Spidget. And these are by centers of excellence, like Qualtrics is for testing.
Sure.
Then Kaggle is for big data and analytics. Appen is for machine learning. So we need to really teach professors and students to get enrolled in the sites very early part of their curriculum and started getting credibility score. And when they pass out, they get more confidence than ever before to adopt that kind of a career path.
Agree. And I think I again hope the students have heard about the EY option to freelance with them and possibly earn while they learn. So hopefully when that gets launched in, we would like that to be launched in Kerala at the earliest, Mr. Srikanth, and we will see how we can influence the government to make it happen for Kerala as well. Okay, thanks a lot. Moving to Vijay, the question is, I think, this is a combination of questions that came from multiple people. So Amal, Prabhakar, then Paul, then Nina has asked these questions. I'm just combining because the number of questions are also very high. So I will take two views, one from you and then one from Dinesh. In the pre-COVID, we were talking about IR4 skills, right? The artificial intelligence, machine learning, cybersecurity, all those things are to be very, very important. What are the skill sets? Essentially, all these 3-4 people have asked very similar question. What are the post-COVID skill set scenarios that are required to survive or to earn a job in companies like yours? So let me go with Vijay first. In the scheme of mid-tier companies, which you actually work a lot with, including your own organization, what type of skill set do you want to advise students to take up in the post-COVID scenario?
So Santosh, I'll be a little honest with what our situation is currently, and
Sure.
that's perhaps slightly representative of what many of the small and medium enterprises go through. A couple of years back, to be honest, we were not engaging in any of the cutting edge technologies. And we took a conscious decision that we would have to kind of move into areas of AI, into areas like IoT, cloud computing, big data, very, very consciously and aggressively. We are now doing quite a significant number. We have significant number of clients and working in this space. But a large quantum of our work still remains to be in conventional technologies, in a lot of the open source technologies that early existed, etc. So while the world is moving very fast onto kind of automation and related technologies, which is surely where I think the students would need to focus. Many of the small and medium companies have not yet managed to kind of get as fast into that space, but are quickly moving there. So in terms of the kind of jobs that would be relevant, it would really be the kind of cutting edge technology we talked about. But it is not to also say that the other ones become irrelevant. Again, from the standpoint of fresh graduates that we take today, we don't even kind of deep dive today in terms of the kind of enormity of skills that they have in some of these cutting edge technologies. What we look at and what we try to evaluate is their capability to learn, the capability to apply themselves well. And all that was talked about right now, particularly by Srikant, are completely demonstrative of that. So going forward, when the demand is not that high, and when there is more competition to get those jobs, then it becomes far more relevant that there is demonstrated kind of activity in areas like, for example, hackathons, in areas, for example, the online coding competitions, where you benchmark with global standards. So that I think really would be the kind of thing that we would look into as we go forward. But I must again say, and I did see some questions with regard to the enormous job. This deviated from your question, Santosh. But if I can just finish that as well, there were questions relating to the high numbers of job loss that was given to the planning commission. But that really is a statistic that came up. But I must say that from my experience and many others I know, recruitment is still happening. So we are still having, kind of work that requires lateral talent, and we are still recruiting. And we are still definitely wanting to go for fresher recruitment for the reason I said, because it's an investment in the future time.
Okay, so I can easily confirm that at least INAP may slow down in terms of the numbers, but you will still be open for fresher recruitments.
That's the way we are. And we have given offers which we would intend to kind of honor.
Okay, great. Dinesh, the same question. What are in the large tech companies, what are the kind of skill sets that you think in the post-COVID scenario will remain relevant? Is it the IR4 skills that we were talking even before the COVID still holds?
Yeah, I think, see, irrespective of the factor of whether I don't know whether we need to qualify as a post-COVID or a pre-COVID scenario. So this is a phase. I think maybe like once in 100 years of in our lifetime and also in our previous generation's lifetime, something like this had happened, and I think it will pass through. But if you leave that out also, I think anyway, some of this what do you call situations make companies think or organizations think whether the way in which they have been doing the strategy, how the digitization or the way in which they have been traditionally working needs to be looked at. So that point is very clear. I think like accelerating digital is one of the things everybody will be looking for now, because somebody would have thought, okay, let's move along with the traditional mechanism of how things happen. Definitely, I mean, something like this happens, they will have to re-strategize the way in which how the customer scenarios will come to play, and also how the workforce has to be. I think that has been touched upon by Sriram and Srikant in many occasions, and very valid points, how the workforce has to be like reimagined and repurposed and reskilled. So that aspect still remains. So that is one thing which gets accelerated. Maybe it was happening, but definitely now every organizations across the globe in every domain will be, or any business vertical will be looking at that. And to add to the point what Vijay said, yeah, learning is becoming a lifelong scenario. See, in my case, I know, being like a electrical engineering degree holder with a mainframe background coming into play got me so far, but that will not be the case going forward. In every day, whatever things come up, and also like I think Sriram mentioned, even if you take that comb model or a pie model, there is information overload. So the students also has to have that ability. They have to nurture that ability. Okay, they can go through anything and everything coming in, but they have to really filter based on their passion, their capability, and their competency and what they are looking for. So that is one thing they have to be clearly. They should at least learn to understand what they are looking for. But from and also I think Sriram or Srikanth mentioned about this multiple skills. Yeah, in the what Sriram mentioned in the point of the home pie. Say for example, like somebody is like a video game designer. it will be a really good thing. In fact, that particular industry, because of the younger generation attending in the audience, that industry tripled in the last 1 decade. But imagine a scenario, a video now going forward, a video game designer with a mobile app development skill or capability is also there. That's like an added plus. That's like really make a boost on that particular individual, and that will like scale in that particular individual's capability to move into any organizations or any work which they want to do. And some of the skills which I think like recently also it was published, one is like this mobile and mobile related application development. But if you take the traditional software developer, that itself is really a great thing. I think Vijay touched that point, because if you look at cloud or whatever, whether it's a platform to be created or a solution to be created, there has to be something. You should have a basic coding understanding capability. Only thing is, compared to like our years where like, okay, a project is like 6 months to 18 months with like 3 months requirements gathering, 4 months analysis and all, will not work. We are currently, and that is very well seen. In fact, like in the GTAC yesterday, Vijay, we were having a discussion about this whole setup of the IMA they have created, where that particular solution to support the COVID and the patients is developed within like a week or something. Maybe 300, 400 technicians or skilled developers work on it. So the main difference from a traditional way of developing versus now is 90% of the solution or a proof of concept we always call that a prototype. 90% is already there. Then you only build on it and scale it. You don't have like the long winding time of even 3 months to develop something. So those are some of the skills which the students has to acquire. The speed in which they can understand things, the same speed in which they can drop certain things and also learn something else, and how can they adapt and like move forward and developing some things very faster. So some of the things are, as I mentioned, mobile app developer, a software engineer, security. And we have been, all of us have been talking about, when you go into this work from home model or any model going forward with the cloud coming into play. Earlier we all know the BFSI segment was having a very huge apprehension of moving into even cloud. They want everything on the premises. I have to see you. You have to sit in front of me, and then only work sort of. Even the windows, doors, everything was frosted. So, but that is changing. So security plays a major role. And security is not creating like whatever the security process procedures, but the testing, how you develop it, the application. So there is a variety of like, and even when you go into this widespread see, if you look at like 100 people in one organization, earlier it was in like one facility it was working, but now it's in 100 different facilities, because each of them are working from their home. So the network capability, network administrator. So those are some of the jobs which definitely is going to scale, and it was not there. But I think maybe now this particular COVID scenario had made many organizations think how they have to re-strategize the workforce, the customer, their own business, especially the logistics. The supply chain management has to be completely, the people will be reworking. So those are some of the skills from a technology standpoint, and also even the domain. Nowadays, I think like technology alone won't work. I think the students has to really understand, say Uber. Uber is an application. Okay, if somebody writes the specs and give it to someone, they can develop it. But whomever came out with that concept has to fully understand the taxi domain, how that the whole domain worked. So that is one thing which is very crucial going forward. So it's a combination of both the domain understanding and the technology skills.
Okay.
So,
I think
Sandesh, if I quickly summarize
yeah, sure.
what Vijay and Dinesh mentioned,
Sure.
I will say there are 3 types of go forward skills and competencies will be respected in the industry. And Dinesh covered very comprehensively. So first one is the transformative mindset, which include the methodologies like design thinking, agile, continuous integration, lean. These are transformative mindset. Without, you cannot really make a progress in today's world. And learning agility is a transformative mindset. The second one is the digital skills. Dinesh has given a catalog of digital skills. And without digital skills and transformative mindset, you cannot make it. If you ask me between the transformative mindset and digital skill set, which is important, I will argue The mindset will take you places where skill set cannot. So we need to really teach the engineering students who are passing out lot of transformative mindset. They are digital skill set is not, it's easy to acquire. It's today's in a micro skilling world, it is easy to acquire. What is required is transformative mindset. The mindset will take you where skill set cannot. The last one, like Dinesh mentioned, with the freelancers, why they are very successful is freelancers have a toolkit which our enterprise doesn't have it. For example, if I want to do a mobile testing, I need to procure all the hardware devices and operating system. Today, freelancers, when they do mobile testing, they all are having hardware and software with them, like a carpenter have a toolbox, and they will test it and send you the test results. Similarly, that Dinesh mentioned, the freelancers have GitHub and a lot of other used codes repository and templates and tools, and they can have access to that, and they know how to do it. In-house, we don't have such use case repository and knowledge bases which the freelancing community have access to this world. So that's the reason the work is need to be reimagined.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for the summary. I have one quick question before I come to you, Sriram. This is just to Dinesh. I think it is to do with some people who are just passing out. The TCS has made public that they will honor all the commitments for the freshers recruitment. Will there be any delays for the intake and training and things like that, or will it go as planned?
No, I think we have, like, my understanding is around some 40,000 plus offers has been rolled out, and in fact, like, from a what do you call, the students side, if you look at it, the exams, it's not yet over. I think otherwise they would have been already joining from May onwards if it would have been a normal scenario. But I think the SAT exams is yet to be known when that will happen. So yeah, for that matter, it has been pushed to Q2. As of now, my understanding from my learning and development department is pushed to Q2. But
so it is mostly to do with the external environment, not the TCS environment.
Yeah. And also all the offers will be honored. And I think my talent development team had connected with, or in the process, they have more or less connected with 70-75% of the candidates where the offers had been given, and the rest, the process is on. So if not somebody has not connected, they will definitely get a call, or somebody will connect with them.
Okay. Sriram, you were telling something.
Yeah, I just want to synthesize what Srikanth and Dinesh said and try to add one more dimension.
Sure.
Dinesh said outside technology, you need to have domain. I think that's a fantastic point. Srikanth said outside the digital skills, you need to have a transformative mindset. That's again a fantastic point. So is there a third thing, right? So one is transformative mindset, domain skills. What is the third thing? And how do you do it in this social distancing world? See, in an earlier world, you could go to a meetup. You could collaborate with people physically.
Yeah.
You could build a network. You could meet like-minded people and not sit in our own silos of, I'm a Java developer, this is what I do, you give me the spec, I'll write it and throw the code as a black box, I'm a fantastic guy. That model is gone. Now, for me to continuously reskill and adapt and grow and become a much more effective professional, everybody wants to start as a developer, become a project manager or a consultant and move ahead in the career. That human soft skill of collaboration, of taking some calculated decisions in terms of ability to listen to what is happening in the market and reskilling and evolving is something that is going to be even more important now. Why it is going to be important? Because the human interaction itself is going to be through these video kind of modes, and you don't meet physically. How do you get it done? And that will define the more successful people, not the digital skills. The people who have the transformative mindset, as Srikanth said, the people who look at the domain, plus also the people who are willing to experiment, collaborate, build a network outside their own cocoons or outside their own frog in the well kind of mentality, are the ones who can really move ahead and then grow in their career. So that aspect of soft skill is many a time less emphasized or talked about. I'd really urge the students and the educators to look into that particular aspect as well.
Yeah, and a changed soft skill scenario. In the past, we used to talk about the communication skills, which are face-to-face. Now it is about remote. Yeah, I think I have got a few questions which I think has been answered by the panelists already. So I will not go into the details of it about the skill sets that you need to talk about, learn while you are at home. I think Mr. Srikanth, Sriram, and Dinesh has spoken about it. Campus placements, MNCs are honoring their commitment, so there is no change as of now. I think that has been answered. Prospects for new graduates, I think Mr. Srikanth touched about the gig economy as a new opportunity area for them. Final years at home, what are the skills you need to adopt? I think we just spoke about this now. Three dimensions we spoke about it. Most people are from campuses. A straight question: how is the post-COVID situation going to affect already selected students? I think the TCS, EY, and the other panel members have mentioned that they are going to be no change for the current thing. They are waiting for exams, etc., to get over. So I don't think there will be a problem. The interesting question with the crystal ball, I will open it to all the panelists. When do you think the IT sector will come back to stability coming out of this post-COVID or COVID scenario? So let me start with Vijay. What does your crystal ball say, Vijay? At least in the mid-tier company segment, what do you think? How long it will take for you guys to come back to normal? You're on mute. You're on mute, Vijay. Yeah.
Right.
Go on.
I would think this really is a difficult one, and it is crystal ball gazing, because it is really dependent in terms of how long this pandemic is really going to be holding on. But what we are hoping, and what would be very difficult for small and medium companies if this carries on, because for the very small companies, the cash flows will become, I'm talking of really, really small companies, cash flows will become very challenged. The reserves typically are not high and the revenues get dipped, then there's a challenge. So what we are anticipating, what we are hoping and keeping fingers crossed about is that by the third quarter of the year, things should significantly kind of start to take a turn. Businesses eventually will have to kind of move on. It cannot kind of stay locked down. And when that happens, there automatically will be the condition that they will come back to us. And we are hopeful that there will be huge amount of pressures in the US and everywhere else as well to kind of contain costs. And as a benefit of cost arbitrage, again, there could be significantly more work that can be offshore, all of which will, I think, come to help us in, let's say, by the third quarter is what we're hoping.
Okay.
But the danger there really is that, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
The danger that I'm seeing is also that there's huge amount of unemployment happening in the US itself.
Yeah.
And therefore, people are ready to work it.
I think that's what Sriram was mentioning, what kind of national strategies even individual nations are going to adopt may have an impact, right?
Right. So briefly, so that's my crystal ball gazing answer.
Okay. So Q3, yeah. What about you, Srikanth?
Yeah, I'm a little pessimistic in this question, but I want to be pessimistic because there's a message in that. As I mentioned earlier, one thing certain in going forward is uncertainty. And we need to get comfortable with uncomfortable. Otherwise, we cannot pursue a career and life going forward. It is not going to be, I'm not telling COVID is going to be always there, but I'm telling maybe another COVID will come, another financial meltdown will happen. So I appeal to all of you, do not wait for that comfort zone to come back. It will never will come back. Let us prepare ourselves. One thing we need to prepare ourselves with agility. How do I define agility? Is 4 things essential to prepare future. One is foresight. We need to be foresight. Which industry have problem? Which industry will have problem? What are the opportunities in that problem? So you need to be foresightful. Second one is you need to be adaptive. Every day morning I get up with the news and complexities. Adaptability is the second definition of agility. Third one I believe is called resilience. Like American football coach mentioned, it's not that how often you fall down when you play football, but how fast you can get up and run. So resilience is the third we need to. The last one is learning agility. Can you learn while doing? And I will bet Sriram will agree in consulting business and advisory, we need to learn ahead of the business. So these are the 4 appeal. Do not wait for 4th or 5th or 6th quarter. You will get disappointed.
Okay, great.
Sriram? Put it differently. When will we get back to the old one? Sorry to be the naysayer. I think the old normal is dead. When World War II happened, mass industrialization, hospitality, air travel, all of that was never ever imagined in the past. The world changed for good. So, like many people are predicting, this is a time for us to pause, rethink, and rebuild on something really new. Is that thing really new going to be in terms of self-sufficiency in food or other things like the government declared yesterday, or is it going to be in new areas of human resilience in terms of research? Is it in term is health tech going to be a key area in the next 6 to 10 months? Everybody would agree. What in health tech would government look at public health service delivery mechanisms much better? Yes, of course, they're going to be looking so well on public health service delivery. There was an analysis that came out this morning where said the entire US healthcare budget, less than 10% was spent on public health, rather than the remaining was spent on care provisioning. Now, if this is going to shift, which are the areas that you're going to? So it's a lot of common sense plus analytical thinking that we can really focus on. Things like the concept of one. Every single business is going to come and land at your doorstep. You would not get out. So right from currently, all the models are one-to-one. A Swiggy guy goes to a hotel and brings you, say, parota. So tomorrow you would want a Swiggy guy to say, give me parota and give me dal fry X restaurant and Y restaurant, and aggregate and give it to me as one. So are there models? The whole modeling, the whole business model is going to shift and get disrupted. And are we getting ready? How can the IT students and others think through? And as Dinesh said, the entrepreneurial mindset earlier, and start working and get into freelancing areas and define. And that's where my mind is parked currently. But I would say the old normal is dead, probably, or still trying to come back. But it's going to be a completely different new normal.
Okay, fabulous. Dinesh, what's your take?
Yeah, see, if you make it anyway, we have been discussing about the business side and the IT side. If you leave the IT side out, I think from a business standpoint, if you look, again, as Vijay mentioned, one is like, okay, when this COVID ends, and it's not like it has to be a landing or a leveling which has to happen across the globe. And even otherwise, like somebody travel from somewhere to somewhere, the second wave or a third wave can still come. So that timeline we are not sure. Even in India, if you look at it, okay, Kerala is in a very, very good position. But again, yesterday in the news, they were telling if people travel, not only the more than the people coming from abroad, like interstate travel can also create a challenge because our neighboring states are more or less red. So from a business standpoint, if you look, there are businesses like as Sriram mentioned, health. Health is continuing and it is going and it may prosper the way in which it is happening. But there are other business like the worst hit one, which is travel, transportation, hospitality. All those things will take time. Or like the next is the retail, where the food and pharmacy is not there. So it overall like a particular time frame from a business standpoint. We cannot say when each business will pick up and how they will come back into a normal or the new normal. Yeah, that is right. It's not the old one is gone. There is no normalcy as of now. The new normal has to be defined and it has to be created. But from an IT side, if you look, and if like when you put this topic as future of IT careers, I think whomever is attending as the audience, see, they should realize, because when we say, in fact, Apple Prime Minister has appreciated from a back end where they what all IT did from a technology standpoint, irrespective of whether it's banking, insurance, health, telecom, internet, sitting, working at home, app, whatever it is. So it's like we are also in the forefront. If we are not in the forefront, maybe like the health department or the police or many other departments. But overall, we have been like supporting all of them are able to effectively function, do their function in their respective areas because there was like a overall technology which supported. Whether it's even whether it's drones or robots giving medicines, all those things is happening. So and again, as Vijay mentioned, there are like organizations which will have impact and it will come back. But as of now, I think like that timeline, I think somebody had created Singapore University or somebody had created a graph where like 97% will be over by June or July or something. After that, definitely, maybe in the Q3 onward, because we cannot like close the lockdown cannot continue, or we cannot like sit idle and see, okay, once the COVID is over, then I will start thinking what to do. Even now itself, people are almost everybody is thinking that's how, if you look at it, like the business organizations are trying to transform now itself. to handle the new normal or define the new normal. And when they recommence in full swing, they are like going into the new normal. So that definitely everybody is looking for.
Okay, I have a few questions on very particular courses. Let me quickly answer them. I think it can be answered by myself. Could UI UX design, AI ML courses, big data? I don't have programming, so data analytics will help. ICT Academy feels that data analytics is a great learning opportunity which can cut across multiple domains. So data analytics for management graduates and other strictly non-technical people, data analytics is a good course. In fact, we also offer data analytics course, so you can come and check with us. AI ML, again, with the new normal that our panelists were mentioning, one little thing that I started seeing in the newspapers is that because of social distancing, we cannot use the traditional keyboards and touchpads and things like that. So maybe that gets the first of its hit is that the biometric devices are getting replaced with image recognition devices. So this uses AI ML kind of a thing. So we believe strongly that AI ML is going to play a substantial role. As Dinesh also said, during COVID itself, the backend has been supported a lot by IT systems and services. So I think some of these courses that you guys are mentioning is going to stay relevant in the future. That's what even the panelists were mentioning. Question again, this was a question particularly to the consulting team, but I wanted to get it across to the panelists. Mr. Srikanth, EY's investment in Kerala in the coming months and years, is it looking stable, positive?
Yeah, definitely. We in Kerala, we have Trivandrum and Cochin close to 7,000 employees. And we also have many things in Kerala which we don't do it in other location, like managed services, which we do in Trivandrum. So the short answer is yes. But again, the future will not be volumetric, adding thousands and 10,000s of people. It will be value-based jobs, like you mentioned, data science, UI, and a lot of things. Absolutely. Then more important, I'm interested to leverage Kerala for freelancers. If you are looking for a 9 to 5 job, a physical office and everything, you'll not find it anymore. It will be there. I'm not telling we are taking it out, but the future is freelancers, and also the working from home enabled and give confidence that now many people we can hire, they can work from home. They need not come to our office. So I see there's a huge opportunity to leverage Kerala ecosystem. Not only Kerala, but we work with many companies, including TCS in the call, Infosys. We work with a lot of other players in Trivandrum. So that ecosystem, we are going to enlarge it. And we are also looking at ecosystem enlarging beyond traditional to faculty members. We are planning to launch a faculty member internship program. We want faculty members to come and do 90 days internship with us. And we will clearly show them how the new world is looking and how is the corporate culture, the exceptional UI experience. And they can take that experience back. So we are starting registration very soon. We want to at least enroll 50 to 100 faculty members as interns with us.
Okay, okay. Sriram, government of Kerala has been given a lot of accolades for the way it has treated COVID, and touch wood, it is still not over, but I think we have been fairly in control so far in that scenario, and it has kind of boosted Kerala's branding as a safe location and highly health conscious locations, etc. Will that attract any new investments into the state?
There are two ways to look at it, Santosh. I think the fact that Kerala has done may not attract, but the fact that Kerala will exit COVID faster than others would give an impetus. For example, if compared to other states in the country, if we find that Kerala has exited and stays their green zone for so many weeks or months, that may result in a significant inflow. Now, where does Kerala get its money? Significant money is in service industry, either coming from NRKs or from the tourism. So and a bit of internal agriculture or whatever. So tourism as a way to restart and kickstart tourism, once this whole COVID thing is really going down the hill, is a concerted effort that may really help bring back Kerala back into the global map again as a prominent tourist destination. With there are already many island nations which are vying to be the tourist destinations because they are saying by design, I do not have any COVID cases for in the past, and I have these measures that have been adopted. So please come to me. So how does Kerala compete against those in terms of attracting the FDIs and the foreign tourists? It will be a differentiator. But to answer in a nutshell, the fact that a lot of initiatives have been taken, yes, the branding will go up, but the fact that it exits the curve faster than others would probably result in many people are talking of ABC, anything but China. So the Chinese companies, if they want to, if companies we want to relocate from China into somewhere in India, if Kerala is ahead of the curve, that could be an impetus. So
what about healthcare sector? Anything can come way in the healthcare sector? Will it be a positive?
So healthcare sector, there are multiple things that I would look at. One is in terms of the model of public health service delivery in Kerala has been appreciated and given accolades by a lot of people. Right from advancements in terms of catching it early, doing an end-to-end thorough mechanism of contact tracing and quarantining and everything, significant strides that have been made. While others are managing COVID with a big hammer, Kerala is managing COVID in a precise manner with the containment zones and others. So that is a big approach which if we can package and create and sell and create some kind of solution from a government of Kerala which can be taken elsewhere, that could be there. And that's where, as I say, all the panelists have been talking, can a group of freelancers get together, or can a TCS or EY with strong presence in Kerala take the leadership to create something in collaboration with the Kerala government and jointly take it elsewhere? Those could be potential areas to look at.
Okay. Question to Vijay, not specific to your industry, but as an entrepreneur, Kerala has been the forefront of entrepreneurship, and I think we have fairly been successful in identifying ourselves as a unique location for entrepreneurship. In the new scenario, how does entrepreneurship going to be, and what is your advice to student entrepreneurs?
I think one of the things that the government has very successfully done is to kind of create a very good ecosystem, which is for startup community, and to kind of build and develop entrepreneurship. I don't see any way that's going to go down. And when there are problems and crises to be solved, then the response to that by a much stronger kind of coming together of entrepreneurs would definitely emerge. So I certainly see that the government is doing extremely well to create the platform and create the ecosystem for developing entrepreneurs. And the kind of difficulties that people go through now will certainly kind of bring out the best in them to bring out solutions, what my thinking is.
Okay.
There was also a question, Santosh, if I can just take a minute.
Yeah,
in terms,
sure.
There's a question about, is there a likelihood of new investments and MNCs coming into Kerala?
Yeah.
Now, this is something that GTEC as an organization trying to work with the government has always been trying to do extensively to support, to bring in more investment. The challenges really have been, I think, predominantly two areas that I would think of where the challenge has been significant. Is one about the social infrastructure, which is about the young group of people for whom they have certain kind of aspirations, desires, etc., and this doesn't cater so well to it. And the second is really and actually the talent pool, which is what we're talking about. I think there's a responsibility for the industry and the kind of academia to work a lot closer to kind of bring out a lot more scale and richness into this talent pool, which is, I think, the great ideas that came about today. But with that, I do think that the stories that we have on COVID, the wonderful governance that we have, the safe place that we are, and so many other positives are there, which, when beautifully packaged, should bring in that investment. Interestingly, if one were to go into companies which have set up in Kerala, all of them have a great story to say. So this really is that, one of those secrets that's well kept, and there's no reason why we should really not go out and bring in those investments. So I think the current situation, again, and the great work that we have done, the international exposure we have got for the wonderful work that we did, whatever we did, I think is a positive that should additionally be leveraged to everything else we've tried before.
Okay. Very quick question again. I put it across to Sriram to start with. If anybody wants to add it, I will take 4 more minutes. I know we scheduled it till 12 o'clock because of the back end issues. It got delayed. I hope, gentlemen, you're okay to stay for 4 more minutes.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. Question. You touched upon the manufacturing sector with ABC, that is anything but China. What are the prospects of that into Kerala? Very specific question from one of the audience. Any specific response, any area specific that we may want to look at from a manufacturing perspective at this point in time?
See, there are multiple.
Considering the geographical limitations and other issues that we have.
I would not want to punt something which may be very wrong. A few things I would like to say is, one is, and Government of India has come up with electronic manufacturing EMC 2.0 policy also recently. And there is potential for people to apply so that there is Government of India funding coming for some of these things. I would postulate that a structured approach, a sectoral approach to see who wants to relocate from China into India, and can Kerala do that upfront. I'm not sure if, sorry, I have to disappoint the person who asked the question. I'm not sure if there is any structured research that says that, yes, focus on medical equipment, or focus on electronics, or focus on some of the, automobile. I'm not in a position to give that, because I haven't come across something. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I haven't come across something that would say this is the sector that somebody should focus on. I'm sorry, I have to disappoint the question. I don't have an answer there.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Going back into, I think Dinesh and Sriram mentioned earlier, the automation will really revolutionize the manufacturing. I was talking to I worked in Toyota. When Toyota started, I was the talent leader for them. So I was still in touch with many of them. So they are going to really revolutionize their manufacturing production line in the next generation. So a lot of automation will penetrate in manufacturing. One area Kerala is very good is in craftsmanship and the creativity and innovation. So anything, not the labor, simple unskilled labor, or skilled labor which can be automated near future. I think we need to really identify where our craftsmanship, if you really look at the architecture of Kerala and everything, which we can put in commercial mass production, creativity, innovation, the enthusiasm and that human dimension into manufacturing, that's a huge opportunity. The design and
And
everything.
maybe, for Santosh, if I can just add to that, see, if we look at it like, because there are a lot of examples. See, one of the things is, like, as Sriram mentioned, any specific industry, obviously a bigger industries, because of the environmental factors which the state is currently going through and being at a very good position. And especially because tourism is, like, if I may call the so-called industry, obviously any big scale industry coming into impact from an environment standpoint is not going to happen. But whomever asked that question, or for the benefit of the larger audience, if they can like definitely think, they can observe around, look around, think for solutions or products which is like very environment friendly compared to like where the state is, and come up with something that will be really good, because there are a lot of examples even in Kerala, and those are some of the areas which the younger generation look into. And definitely, like electronic manufacturing, maybe one of the areas can be looked at, but then that is like a much bigger decision and the policies structure which has to put in place before doing something. But the current generation can definitely look for any solution which is like very environment friendly, how it will suit our environment, and obviously it will work anywhere in the world.
Okay, great. Last one question to all of you. We have been talking about the future for students. We have been talking about the future for industry, etc. So in 1 minute, let me go from Sriram. Any advice to the teaching community at large?
Yeah, thank you. This is a very interesting question. My request to the teaching community is to, while we teach them computer science and specific courses, which are relevant, I would request the teaching community to urge the students to pick up as many skills as possible during the college years. Now, some of the new technology like blockchain, the pioneer was 18 years when he founded Ethereum. So age is not a limit in terms of some of this AI, ML, or RPA, or whatever we're talking about. Age is just a number. So how can we really focus on enthusing and motivating the students to innovate while in college, finding the spark in them, and pushing them to do non-curricular things apart from doing the curricular things in terms of books and everything, and finding sparks of brilliance creating a structured roadmap for them because they have much better world view than the fresh student who has come in, and helping connect those sparks of brilliance with the industry and the startup community, so that we get more and more entrepreneurs or more and more well-rounded technocrats coming out at the end of the 4 years. That is my only request to the teaching.
I think it's along the same lines, but I would have a few specific kind of suggestions that I might want to come up with. The objective really is to kind of bring about a change in the way we learn, bring about a change in the kind of pattern that we go through today. And it really is a responsibility of people who actually kind of the educators to bring about that change. And that's really about a change of orientation. The students, I think, some very specific things, for example, some examples of specific initiatives that might help. Target them at the first year, start orientation programs for them, bringing in industry representatives who can talk to them, or bringing in alumni at the very early stage in their program. Have scheduled talks for them by seniors who are very good in academics, so that they become kind of good role models that these people, everybody else would aspire to kind of follow. Start to have and create internal contests every semester, and demonstrate, through that contest, the kind of design and engineering skills that really help towards kind of doing and solving practical problems that exist. Bring out that culture, kind of bring a lot more into it. Expose the students to these online platforms, ensure it happens. If you look at Hacker Rank or Kaggle and so on, the presence there is something which should be absolutely required to be done, not mandated on them, but they should be influenced in a manner where they appreciate and understand the need to kind of do that. And the students should also be encouraged to participate a lot more in external events like the hackathons that happen. And when people go and participate in these hackathons, when they go and win these hackathons, they should be celebrated, so that the culture really becomes that it is not just the people who win the dance competition who become heroes, but people who are also of academic brilliance really kind of shine for what they are worth. And that kind of a culture, and bringing in that kind of a culture, I think really where it lies, which is far beyond about teaching a particular syllabus. That's my take, Santosh.
Thank you. Srikanth,
Yeah,
your
I
take?
think Vijay, what you mentioned, I really like it. I will put more structure to that. For MBA or other general studies and technology, these two different streams. MBA, I studied in Loyola School of Social Science in Srikaryam, Trivandrum in 1993. What I am today because of that school. The way they taught the entire curriculum. From the day one we joined, there was a 2 days orientation where we are taught 10 to 15 management games. I was a very shy introvert and very lean student, not from management lean, physically lean. A lot of inferiority complex I had and lack of confidence. What I am today is what Toyota have given to me. In the first 2 days itself, you have to go with your parents in the first day. And when you enter, the seniors welcome you by giving a candle to you, passing the heritage to you. Then that's confidence. And then we have clubs like Vijay mentioned, Christmas Club, Onam Club. Then as an MSW student, every Tuesday and Thursday, in the first month itself, I have to go to the field. And really what I learn, I need to practice and get confidence in that. So the entire curriculum is so designed. What I am doing today is because of Loyola's strong foundation, the confidence, the leadership, the communication skills, and also it made me comfort in my skin. That's one thing I always tell people: be who you are. You have a lot of strength and be comfort in your skin. A lot of students today, especially coming from rural, they're not comfortable in skin. They feel I am black, I don't speak English, I'm thin, I'm short, and what. So we need to make people, students, comfort in their skin. That's what a case study of mine. The second one, coming back into engineering, I like EY way of skilling people. We call the badges. So we have bronze, silver, gold, and platinum badge. And in order to get badge, you have to do three things. You have to do X hours of training, e-learning. You have to read a book and everything. Then you have to uh, do what you learned in a small projects. Then you have to contribute into that domain something. Then you get a badge. So when you get 8 to 10 badges, some of them may be bronze, some of them may be silver, some of them may be platinum. You are eligible to apply for an MBA in HALT, and you will get digital MBA. So similarly, our engineering students, the semesters like Vijay mentioned, has to be broke down into badges. And early semester, you should have one bronze badge in, say, analysis. One bronze badge you need to do in data science or data visualization. Then if you come, so this badging system is not theory alone. And industry like us, we can give any number of tasks for people to really do and contribute back. And when they pass out, they have 10 badges. And if you have 10 badges, you're expert on certain technology. So we have badges in blockchain, IoT, data science, RPA, and any number of technology. And now we are partnering with SAP and Microsoft and co-creating badges. They love the methodology of badging. So I'm very happy to share the curriculum on badging, and which is more on doing and contributing with a strong foundation on learning.
Okay, thank you. Dinesh, your take to the teachers?
I think now normally, if you look at it, it's the curriculum plus the extracurricular activities. Like right from the school days to college days, if you look at it, that's the norm in which things happening. I think as Vijay and Srikanth mentioned, there has to be something like an additional technical capability which has to be added into that. What I mean is like they have to be anyway. Curriculum is there. Obviously, they have to go through that. We don't have an option unless a university or a board decides to change it. But more than that, so that is really necessary. I mean, necessity, they have to go through it. But other than that, from a practical aspect of it, how they can get to exposed to the industry and how they can learn a new domain or understand a new domain and or go into an area where a technological skill can be understood. So those are some of the areas for which I think definitely there has to be a certain amount or a good amount of effort put faculty has to put in to understand these areas, and based on, and again the capabilities of each student will be varying, but still then make them into teams and see how that can be done. We can always talk about internship, all those things, but there are all things, there are limitations. Some of the things we can support industry, support in fact, even in like Santosh, in GTAC we have discussed, we have created, some of the organizations that created a remote internship model, and now with this whole virtual world, it is becoming much more easy. So those are some of the areas where the faculty should focus to ensure. So around a person will come out when he or she comes out of the college. So like again, the earlier 3 points, I think Srikanth mentioned 2, and then Sriram added the third, the transformative, the digital, and the soft skill, and how the whole the 3 can be imparted into the students so that around a person will come up, whether they go in an engineering side, whether they go start their own business, whatever it is, but at least face the world. The students has to be made ready.
And also, Santosh, last point I did alluded, we need to make mandate that every faculty should go internship of 60 days every 2 years. So
Okay.
so they get to know what's happening in industry. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you all, gentlemen. I think I took a little more than what was planned, but I really appreciate you sharing a lot of valuable insights. I think we had around 50 questions coming in, but I think we covered almost all the questions. I also wanted to apologize sincerely because we did have some real tough time to get into the platform. We will also take Dinesh's input to see whether we can find a ground meet rather than an air meet to see next time whether we can be successful.
Santosh, I know in my home which is the hotspot now. I've been telling you.
That's a good one. I also wanted to thank all the people who have joined in. I still see some technical difficulties for some students coming in, but I really appreciate you all taking your time and attending this session. I just hope that this has been very useful. We at least felt that this is something very valuable from our side, taking insights directly from the industry leaders who are seeing it all happening in front of them. So we really appreciate your patient listening. I also wanted to say that outside world is still not very safe. So please do observe social distancing and all the policies and procedures given by the governments. Let's hope the best will happen. As many of our experts said, even if the old normal may not return, let's hope that the new normal is much better than the old normal. Wish you all the best, dear panelists, and thanks once again, everybody, for joining us for this panel discussion. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Santosh.
Thank you.